Welcome to
Another episode of Columbia
Conversations.
Here we are, episode 6.
Episode 6. We got two extremely special guests this week.
A real treat for you. Their names are Arman
and Steve.
Hi, my name's Arman.
Hi, I'm Steve.
Yeah, we're your guests today. Yeah, a bit of a tragic tale for you listening at home. And those of you who wanted a little bit of behind the scenes, look at the show.
Kind of how the sausage
gets made.
Yeah.
We don't have a guest this week.
We decided to go rogue and take it back to the roots where it's just podcast bros.
Two bros on a podcast.
So.
But we have plenty of to talk about amongst ourselves.
I think so. How's the semester been going for you, Arman?
So I'm glad you asked, man. It's a very interesting time for me as a student because I'm going to transfer soon. It's my last semester here at Columbia, so there's a lot of little housekeeping things you got to do to make sure that transfer happens smoothly. I'm sending transcripts is something I had to do.
Me too. This is my last semester, and there's so much I already have to do that. Now I have to do. They don't even tell you. You need a whole semester just to transfer.
Yeah, and so, I've been sort of frantically checking my student portals to see what they want by when, so they don't drop me from, acceptance. But I sent Chico my transcript today.
Nice.
So that's good. And
what's the other colleges?
Humboldt. And then I applied to
State,
SAC and Monterey, but I think those two are sort of out of the running at this point.
Oh.
I got to narrow this down, man. I got to choose one of these schools.
That was my next question. Like, which one is it?
Man, so there's a lot of thought that's going into this, and I wish something would just jump out at me and to help me figure out which one I really want to go to. But right now it's really hard to pick. I'm still sort of torn between the two. It's a big decision,
Well, which one has a better music program? And then also, what kind of is going to help me, seal the deal is which school is going to have a better financial aid package for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm not super considering those factors because I want to be in a good place. This is an opportunity for me to go somewhere else that is different than, because I've sort of lived in the area for a long time. So I think it's sort of important for me to pick a good spot that I want to be at that's different.
Something that fits Arman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
But that might kind of be wrong of me to be doing. There's more important things to be considering. But it's important
to be selfish.
Yeah.
Who cares, man? It's your future. Yeah. If you screw it up, it's nobody's fault but your own.
Yeah.
And if you want to take the time to go to a college you think's going to be funner or whatever, that's an experience all in itself that, I don't know, you won't get 20 years from now. So rock it, dude.
Yeah. So I'm still on the fence about that. But other things, my music classes are going very, very well. I have pretty much only music classes this semester, which is really...
So that's a fun semester.
Yes. I come in and I do piano class, and then
which is a super fun I take piano class.
Yeah. It's very independent, which is nice because I rehearse very independently. I kind of have my own work rate. I kind of work slowly, and so I think having the ability to work by myself at my own pace really helps me. So it's a very individual sort of class. I get to sit down in front of the piano, work on the pieces I'm working on. We have recitals every once in a while. We just had one this week. Every 4 weeks we get together. We do a little recital, show everyone else in the class, because you're in a big room with a bunch of digital keyboards. Everyone's got headphones on. and you're just plunking away.
And you really have no clue what anybody else is working
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Well, yeah, because when I heard your piece, I was like, oh, hey, man, that's pretty jazzy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, yeah, I was just expecting you to do, like, a Beatles song or something like
I was going to in the very beginning, but Daniel, friend of the show, Daniel Godsill, the music professor,
Yep.
he was
Episode 4.
Episode 4. If you haven't, listened to it, go watch that.
Oh, wait, no, he's episode 3.
Yeah, man.
Oh, well. Anyway,
Lindsay's
continue.
Okay, we're fine. Lindsay's 5, Maddie's 4,
Yeah.
Daniel's 3.
There you go.
So, hello? What are you doing, man?
Sorry, I'm pressing buttons and messing with stuff.
You guys
on
should
the
really
machine.
see this. We'll take a picture, put it up on the YouTube version. Steve has his tech center has really sort of leveled up here.
My tech corner.
He's got his board in front of him on one side, and on the other side he's got his laptop. A whole separate desk has been brought in to facilitate that. And he really looks like the guy in the chair, He's got all
I just need a cooler chair.
Yeah,
That's it.
a swivel,
But no,
kind of swivelly
So
chair.
yeah, I got my mixer, my computer, my interface. And for all you electronic music takers, I have my DAW. My DAW.
Nice.
Yeah, Pro Tools, certified.
So yeah, taking that piano class, and then the same day I go to music theory, I go to musicianship, and it's just been really great. And I've really needed it because to transfer you need to do a certain evaluation to take the higher level transfer courses.
Oh, for music?
So they
well, I know
make sure
Sac State has they have one.
Yeah.
But is that how it is for every?
I think so. I think they're not all the same, but each school kind of does it their own way, but they all have sort of
a standard.
Yeah, just to make sure that you actually learned what it says on your transcript. Like, okay, you took the class, but
did you
learn anything?
Yeah.
And even if I don't do well in those, I mean, it's not the end of the world. They'll probably just put me in a lower one, but I'll just be at the school for longer, which I'm really not trying to do. So I really want to focus up on my music and prepare myself for that. So having all these music classes has really helped me.
Because it's going to get you in the groove before you have to take your placement exam or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me curious how different that is from school to school. Because I know because we've seen what Sac State asks for. So I'm just curious what Humboldt and Chico have.
Yeah. I could probably ask around. I need to
I'm sure Daniel, friend of the show, would know.
Very good friend of the show,
Episode 3.
Episode 3, if you haven't listened. That's been my semester mostly. I have an English class that starts late.
Oh, it's a late one?
Yeah, so
is it English C?
Yeah, 1C.
1C is cool.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No,
I got A's in my English class, believe it or not.
Maybe I'll turn to you if I am in need of support.
I know I don't talk like I know English very well. But I'm pretty good at writing it, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What's your semester? How's it going? A little status check.
Been in the trenches, man.
Oh.
No, it started off very, very bumpy, but here we are at the end of week 4.
End of week 4?
And it's finally coming together. I had some online classes through MJC because we didn't offer them here at Columbia. And I ended up getting dropped within 72 hours of one of the classes, and I need it to graduate and transfer.
Yeah.
So that was a fiasco all in and by itself, which was a headache. And that took weeks to get panned out and figured what to do. So if that ever happens to you out there, go straight to your counselor. Your counselor, man, my counselor, Rosa, saved me. Also, communications professor Tim Elizondo saved me too. So if you guys are having issues with classes, professors, anything like that, man, I'm telling you, your counselor should know what to do and how to go about it. So the first 4 weeks were pretty bumpy with a bunch of, definitely trying to make sure I got the classes I need to transfer, and then a bunch of other stuff with like car insurance and
just life
just
stuff,
life, man. But it all just came at me in that week one.
Week one, and really laid on top.
So I was trying to survive that because it's a whole nother story. I had to get car insurance, and because of the fires in LA, most of the major insurers were not insuring Californians.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, but I need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was just a whole nother level of stress I didn't need the first week of
well,
school,
that happens a lot as a college student, especially because you're, an adult and a student. There's a lot of balance you have to find between.
Oh, yeah.
And if something comes up, you need to be able to sort of allocate time properly and making sure that you can make up on lost work or lost time or whatever. It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, it's a juggling act. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. And then, but besides that, the classes I am taking, like I'm taking another music class, fundamentals with Rod Harris, really fun class. Like, I mean, I've already taken some theory classes, but like I never did the fundamentals class, so it's kind of like
they didn't really have it when we first started.
We didn't, so
it's kind of a newer course.
And I never took it in high school. Like I have music experience, but on the other side, like I've done the recording and all the equipment and stuff like that. So to get down to what's a triad and learning how to read music, I kind of went backwards. I started running before I learned to crawl.
And then that always leads to the classic scenario where the professor's saying something and then you're like, oh, that would have been very useful to know a year ago when I was in my second level of music theory.
Yeah, almost every class I have with Rod, I have like another oh, that makes so much sense now. I wish I would have. Yeah, so that's actually been a lot of fun, though. That's like a fun class. And then I'm taking freehand drawing. That class is amazing.
You got some drawings to show me?
By the end of the semester.
Okay.
I'm hoping to draw my cat. I want to get a good picture of Mr. Nimbus. But the art teacher, John's really cool. He's super funny. And he's just good, man. Like, he creates a really good environment for you. Like, even if you mess up, he's like, hey, why don't you try this? And I'm like, oh, that works so much better, man. So, like, I'm having fun with those classes. And then, like I said, I got my online classes figured out. But yeah, it's been an interesting semester.
Yeah, it's kind of nice having this podcast come out weekly.
Yeah.
Because we record these on Fridays. They come out on Mondays. Now on Spotify.
I was about to say, we're on Spotify.
How does that make you feel, Steve?
Makes me feel international.
Yeah, we can reach all four corners of the globe.
Yes.
With our voices.
I didn't know the globe had corners.
That's an expression.
Yeah. I mean, it could be flat, right?
No.
I'm just kidding. We faked the moon landing. No, I'm just kidding.
A funny anecdote about, our good friend Daniel Godsill that we didn't bring up on his episode, but maybe we'll have a whole new episode.
We'll have him back one of these days.
He loves his conspiracy theories.
Which I do too, man. They're just fun.
Yeah.
They're fun to entertain, but if you take them serious.
So, maybe we'll get him on to talk about one.
Right.
He'll talk for a few hours probably.
So what's going on music-wise with you? Because hopefully there's going to be some tracks.
Yeah, I'll take some time to talk about that. So me and Steve here, we have sort of a separate project going on where I play guitar and I write my own original songs, and I've always really wanted to get them recorded. Just so I can, I really want to share what I have to say in those songs. And
they're good songs, too.
Thank you.
And it's the fact that they're originals, too, is another. Mm-hmm. It's just like somebody who writes poetry. They want to get it out there.
They want to be heard. So I've always really wanted to record them, and I've recorded them, on my phone for myself and to share with my friends. But I've wanted something that I can really share around. And so Steve being,
an engineer.
Yeah, an audio engineer. I don't know if I approached you or we just, we're making this podcast and be like, hey, on the days we record the podcast, we have all the microphones and stuff. Why not? Let's just
do
record
it.
some songs. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we did it last week for the first time,
and
first
it was
session.
So much fun.
A lot of fun. We did it in, if you guys are familiar with the campus at all, the Dogwood Theater.
There's a really cool control room. Mm-hmm. We just got a brand new digital board that also works as an audio interface in a DAW. And we were kind of just breaking her in last week. Yeah, we had just got her. I think that week or the week
Monday
before,
or like Tuesday, and then we recorded it, on Friday. So there were some kinks.
Oh yeah,
that had to be worked out.
Yeah, there was definitely some learning curves because it was a brand new board. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to say, like, I've spent so many years in a professional setting in studios recording, and everybody's always just like, oh, dude, isn't that the coolest job ever? And it's like, yeah, it's fun, but I'm not picking what I want to record. Yeah. I might have 8 hours of some lady singing out of tune, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun to actually record something I wanted to record. You know,
and you knew me. I mean, you've heard these songs a lot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's something I wanted to record. I'd be like, man, that'd be really fun if we actually had that recorded. Yeah. So that was actually a lot more fun than regular recording back in the day.
Yeah, and so the control room is like behind all the seats in the theater. You imagine the stage is like up front, and then you have all the seats, and then back, and there's like a window. And that's where the booth is. So, we'd get a take, and then I'd like put my guitar down, and I'd run around outside back into the back door. And then we'd sit there and we'd listen to it. And, I'd be like, I think I could do that again. And I'd run outside and come back down to the stage. And then we did a few takes of 2 of my songs. And I think they turned out
really good. So we're probably going to end up mixing those pretty soon.
Yeah.
But they were a lot of fun to make. I forgot how much fun it is to record when you're actually recording a project you want to. So like, it was a blast, man. And then it was kind of fun to see your process, cuz I know you haven't really recorded, like you said, you recorded on your phone and stuff.
Well, yeah,
it's a whole different process when you're recording on a DAW.
Yeah, I had some friends in high school that when you're in a band, you always kind of want to record. So we were like, oh, we should get. I never was really into the audio gear stuff, but some of my friends were, and they're like, oh, I could record you. My younger brother, Amir, he has recorded me a few times. But, it was never where I was, like, really, like, taking it super seriously, where I'm like, this is, like, going to go up somewhere. Right. It was more like, oh, this is, like, a fun thing that we're doing.
It wasn't like, hey, this is how I envisioned this sound.
There's a lot of things where I was like, it doesn't sound exactly how I want it to, but that's fine. Like, we're just doing this for fun.
It's practice.
Yeah, so in this one, it was like, I really wanted to be like, no, like, I want another take. Like, that take is technically, like, good. Like, I didn't make any mistakes, but there's something I want to, like, emphasize more when I'm singing, or there's a way I want to do it just a little bit differently. And so
I thought it worked out good because you usually you're your worst critic, so it was like when you're like, no, let's do it again, I'm like, yeah, let's do it again. Like, you got a better take in you, let's do
That's where I was like,
you know what I mean?
I was wondering, is it just that none of these takes are going to sound good to me because I'm such a harsh critic? But we got somewhere I was like, that's pretty good. Like,
no, you get to a point where you're like, hey, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've been in, thousands of sessions, and it's like, you'll get that sometimes where the artist's like, hey, that's it. Like, that's the one I'm keeping. Even if I'm like, actually, dude, but hey, it's it's their project. They got their own vision for it, and I'm not necessarily their producer. That's another nice thing too, when like you have some artists that, because sometimes there's labels and they have producers. It's like, that's when it's really nice too, because the producer's like, yeah, keep that one, but we're gonna do another take, and then we're gonna move on.
They have the ear for what
exactly,
is like,
because sometimes good. Like artists, their worst critic. You will be there. You'll be like, hey, man, you're not going to sing the chorus any better than the last 75 takes. Yeah. So if you have a producer there, it's like, all right, that's it. Let's go on, And it's kind of like crazy. You read about some of these bands that like they're super famous. Like I can't remember the producer, but it was for Nirvana and Utero. The producer for that, like they're recording songs and stuff, and he's doing like Sudoku, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll let you know."
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then when you do get a good take, the producer's like, "Hey, that's it.
Yeah.
Keep that one."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a little different when you're doing it with an artist, but I think I feel that you know what you want to sound like. So if you get, because you were like, no, I can do it better, and then you know you were partial, like I don't know if that's the one. So I knew you had it in you that night. We were gonna get it regardless.
Yeah. So yeah, that was so much fun.
And you got a show coming up, right?
Yeah, Game Room, February 21st from 7 to 9.
7 to 9
at the Game Room. Come on down. You know, I've done it once before. It went really, really well.
It was a great time.
Yeah, a lot of people came out. I think
actually it'd be the third time because you were there for Halloween. This will be the second
you
time
know what
inside.
I forgot about. If you weren't there, I was dressed as Where's Waldo, and I played for some little kids.
Well, yeah, we had a trunk or treat at the Game Room, which it's like I'd never done that before, and I thought that was pretty cool. Because I guess it like started during COVID, where instead of like trick or treating or whatever, like go to a parking lot, and I don't know. The times have changed since I was a young child.
You know, that's actually the second trunk or treat I played for.
Oh, really?
Well, kind of. During COVID, I went to a trunk or treat, and I was dressed as Johnny Cash.
Oh, nice.
And I brought my guitar and I was playing some Johnny Cash tunes.
Oh, dude, that's what's up.
So
man.
technically, I have played for 2
trunk or treats. That's tight, man. And then also, well, it's going to be a little late by the time you guys hear this, but this weekend, Aspen, one of our local campus bands, is playing at the Game Room.
You know, they got their name.
I think it's a fundraiser for the Mustang Rescue Ranch, trying to save horses and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they get their name because they practice in this very room.
The room we filmed or record the podcast in. We're going to get film in here one day.
Yeah, we really want to get, you know, because there's so much that, like, I could just look at a camera right now and be like, you know what I'm saying? And point at it.
Right.
I could do this to the camera. But you guys don't know what I just did, you know? So
it was flipping the bird.
Don't say that. They should not know that. You know what I want to ask you, Steve, now that you're a guest on the podcast instead of just a host? What's the whole recording journey, you know, that you have taken? You know, you've talked about how you were a working, you know, sound engineer for such a long time, but what did that kind of look like? How did
when I was in high school, there was a program that came out called Fruity Loops, and I used to make beats on there, and a few of my friends would rap, and then I actually had a friend that took it pretty serious, like rapping, and I actually just got into like the recording part. Like not necessarily rapping. I didn't really like. I could rap. I could write some raps. They were good rhymes. I could stay on beat and all that. But I just like behind the scenes better. You know what I mean? So a buddy of mine was going to go to a recording school, and we were fresh out of high school. I had just had my daughter, so I was 18, and I was like, I got to find a career. Like I got to figure something out, you know. And so I went to Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences in Phoenix, Arizona. And it was about like a little bit over a year kind of program, like really rigorous. So it's like it started off analog and then they switched to digital. And then once you complete the course, they actually get you an internship. And I got an internship in San Francisco because I originally wanted to work on movies. That was like, I thought that would be like a lot of fun. So I originally interned, I can't remember what studio it was, but they did a bunch of movies there.
What was that like? Like during the movie process, you're not on set like working microphones. You're doing like mixing afterwards.
So basically, like you'll get a movie clip and there's no sound to it, and it's like it could be 5 to 10 minutes, But when they do movies, they'll have a whole team of people that just get 5 to 10 minute clips. Because if you just sat there trying to do sound for on a movie, like the whole entire movie, would be beyond overwhelming. I'm sure you could do it, but if you break it down into sections and like you do the Foley where it's like footsteps or you see like a dude in a leather jacket and you hear that leather sound. So it's like somebody in a studio does that while they're watching the video footage. Like they'll line up their footsteps, they'll do all that kind of stuff. And then like, they also have something called ADR where it's like automatic dialogue replacement. So like half the dialogue, probably 70% of the dialogue you ever watch in movies, they re-record that in a studio because the set audio sounds like crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like, there's 100 people on set. I mean, it
could be windy, could be just you're
it's a
hearing
sound
like
stage.
stuff.
Somebody might be coughing.
Yeah.
Maybe the microphone battery's going out on the battery. Like, I mean, there's all.
And you can't really get the microphone right in their faces because it'll be in the shot. So
exactly. Yeah. So it's like a lot of time, and that's another thing too. Like in school, because I was like, I want to work on movies, and like one of the couple professors were just like, well, do you like movies? And I was like, I love watching. And they're like, it's gonna ruin it.
Oh, right.
Like, what? And they are ruined for me. If I watch a movie, I'm like, that's not how a 1979 Cadillac door sounds. Like when somebody shouts it, I was like, that's not how it sounds. You know what I mean?
You got a good ear for that. Then,
or it's like just other things. I'll be like, that guy just lit a cigarette. Why is it down to the butt? Like you just start seeing things on movies. But so the first internship I went to sucked. And I just, I went there and it's like the guy who was like, he was like alumni from my college, from the conservatory, and he was just like bad mouthing it. And I was like, okay. And like, he didn't even do audio work anymore. He was a secretary. So it's just like, and then when I got there, he's like, well, I hope you're ready to scrub toilets and do all this stuff. And I was just like, no, dude, I didn't just finish. I get it. An intern should be doing some stuff, but I'm not just here to be a free cleaner.
Yeah.
So I dipped out on that internship, and then I got an internship at a studio called Crescendo Studios.
And this is in San Francisco?
Yeah, this is downtown San Francisco in the financial district. And they did... I'm going to age myself here, but it was all the Mervins and Gottschalks commercials. So I worked on a lot of those, a bunch of Chevy, Ford commercials. When Esurance was like a cartoon superhero chick, I used to record that lady every week.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, because it would be funny. Like I'd be riding the train down to work and I'd see a bus pass with like the cartoon lady on there. I was like, hey, I'm going to go record her right now.
Nice.
And then when '08 happened, if you guys aren't familiar, there was the Great Recession. A lot, Mervyn's, Gottschalks, a bunch of places I did commercials for, they closed. So then I kind of switched to music. I moved to Sacramento for a little while, for a couple years. I worked at a studio called Out the House. This guy had a garage he had made into a really nice studio. So it was like I was the head engineer there. And then I just started doing a lot of music, and people would contract me to go like do their albums, So like I went to Kansas City, Seattle, Palm Springs, all over the place, man. And then started working in theater, because theater is just hella fun.
Yeah.
I worked in a few different theaters in the Bay Area. And I started doing, we started working with DJ Rick Lee from 106 KMEL. And we would have these contests, and this is pre-Rick and Morty. It was called Show Me What You Got. And somebody would get picked, and if they won, they got like one free song from Treetop Studios, one of the studios I worked at.
Wow. And
we would record it, mix it, and DJ Rick Lee would play it. So I did a lot of radio mixing too. So, and then I don't know. I just I moved back up here to be closer to my kid, and came to Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like my recording odyssey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't do it anymore.
Not I mean, just right now.
We're here. I mean,
well, I mean, just on your project right
Yeah.
now. No, not as much as I used to.
Mhm.
It just, I don't know. I just, I did it so many years,
Yeah.
and nobody's gonna pay me what I'm worth up here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, when I was in the Bay Area, I had like a handful of studios I could bounce between, and that was another thing that kind of just got old. It was like doing music and like recording and stuff. It's not a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? I could have like, I just call it's like feast or famine, because sometimes it's like I would have so much work I didn't have enough hours in the day, but then like the next month I'm like scraping by.
Right.
It's like a lot of gigging. Like I like, even if I have like a solid gig for a month, I'm still looking for the next gig. So I just kind of got burnt out on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would work at a couple different studios, then go work at a theater, and it's like most of the time I'd have like 3 jobs.
Yeah.
None of them were full time, but like, you know what I mean? So that's another reason I came back to school. I just want a little more stability in whatever career I pick and whatever I'm doing.
And you still do sound at the game room.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
so
pretty
that's another
consistent.
thing too. Like now up here, I do more live sound.
Yeah.
And I had dibbed and dabbled before, but I was more of a studio.
Theater's kind of like live sound, or were you more recording the theater?
So theater was more, it's like, so theater's kind of trippy. Like I got to make sure all their microphones are all good to go, and just make sure their levels are right. But a lot of it is like following the script.
And doing cues and turning up their mics when they're ready to talk.
Exactly. Muting this guy, doing that. It's not, I mean, there's some mixing involved, but there's a lot more like at the game room, like doing all that, there's a lot more actual mixing. And I hadn't really done live sound too much. So like, I've got that down now too.
You got the church gig?
Oh yeah.
That's
I also do live sound at a church. Me and my daughter were the tech team.
Nice. Tech team.
What about you, man?
I don't got a journey. I'm in my journey.
On, man. What was it like growing up in Calaveras County?
Right. So for those of you who don't know, and I honestly forget what I have and haven't said on the podcast. So, if I repeat myself, sorry, but you guys are going to have to hear it twice. I grew up in Calaveras County in a sleepy little town called Angels Camp, Gold Rush town. And, it was really small, and there aren't a lot of, music opportunities really.
Like busking when it's like, like Western Day.
Yeah, if there's like a theme day, but then you only have to play, like Western music or like, Coming Around the Mountain When She Comes.
Like Gold Rush Day.
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
But, there's some bars and there's some live music. But even like growing up, there wasn't really a music program in my at least elementary school and middle school.
Right.
Some people are like, yeah, in like 3rd grade, we all had to pick an instrument. I learned how to play. I was on drums. Someone was on flute. But we didn't have anything like that. It was just my 2nd grade teacher. I don't know if he just personally wanted to have some kind of music. So he himself brought like 30 ukuleles into the classroom.
Oh, wow.
And sort of my music mentor, William Heath, he has a music shop in Murphy's.
Oh, is that the one by the gas station?
Yeah, by the
that's
Chevron.
An awesome little music
shop.
Yeah,
Murphy's Music Company. You guys should go there and buy so many instruments. That's where I bought my Martin guitar that I have. I bought
it's
it
a beautiful
from them.
Guitar too.
And that kind of is a cool story because it's a 2005, and I think they've had it since 2005. So all the lessons I took in there, that guitar was hanging up on the wall. And I always look at it, and I check the price tag. I'm like, oh my god!
You're like she will be mine.
And I'm like, one day, and then it's Rosie is her name. That's my guitar.
Oh, I didn't know she had a name.
Well, all my guitars are kind of named Rosie, but so But so it wasn't like a music program really. It was just that specific teacher taught ukulele. And it was kind of like the thing, during like assemblies, his whole class would come and play ukulele. And it'd be like, maybe not 30, 20 kids all playing ukulele at the same time. It probably sounded horrible.
Like Over the Rainbow.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed that. And I just wanted to keep doing it. So I was in that specific teacher's class for 2 years because he taught second grade and then third grade. So I had 2 years of ukulele, and then I went to Mr. Heath for private lessons after that because I was going to fourth grade and the fourth grade teacher didn't have any sort of music. So
whack.
I know, right? Nothing. Only this one third grade teacher. If you were in the other third grade class, no ukulele. It's just this one.
So you got lucky, man.
Yeah, I got very lucky, and so then I went to private stuff, and then eventually I was just like, I want to play guitar now because, the ukulele's cool, but guitar is really cool.
Guitar's super good.
Yeah, so I started playing guitar, and, at first I wasn't, like, super, super into guitar. Like, it was kind of like just I'd do lessons on the weekend, and, I wouldn't practice because I wanted to do other stuff.
Yeah, you were a kid, yeah.
Yeah, but right around 6th grade, I got into the Beatles. I first heard, my mom was really into Beatles. She grew up listening to, Abbey Road.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I listened to maybe the White Album.
There's actually
first.
a really cool recording school my buddy was going to go to. It's at Abbey Road.
Wow.
It's like Abbey Road Studios.
Yeah.
And you get to, mess with the gear the Beatles mess with and stuff.
Cool.
And I was like, man, sorry, it's totally off subject. But
No, that's on subject.
As you say Abbey Road,
Yeah.
I always think of that. I was like, man, that would have been a dope school to go to.
Yeah. And I think that's really when because I've always sort of wanted to be like a rock star, when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And I would jump up on the coffee table at my house and play the little toy guitar, and I would do a concert for my mom. So I'd always kind of wanted that, but the actual practice of playing guitar was kind of and we were kind of learning classical guitar at that point. I was learning in my lessons. So I was kind of bored with it a little bit. It's kind of I didn't really know any of the songs I was playing.
I want to rock and roll.
Yeah, and then I sort of discovered the Beatles, and then I just started learning as many Beatles songs as I could, and I was just playing all the time, and I started trying to learn how to sing.
Which you're a good singer,
Thank
too,
you.
Man. Yeah.
I was not when I first started. That's one thing that I don't know. My mom always tells the story that when I was learning guitar and my guitar teacher was like, he should do some vocal lessons, I think, because I would sing, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And that's something that I learned how to do just from listening to people sing. There was a point where I was like, okay, I'm just singing along with them, but I probably wasn't hitting the right notes. And then I'm like, what? I kind of stopped and what are they actually even singing?
Can I harmonize?
Yeah, I'm going to turn down the music a little bit and listen to what I am singing. And then when I was learning the songs, I'm like, okay, now it's just me singing with a guitar. I can really hear what I'm doing wrong. And I, sort of, that's where I feel like I'm self-taught is with the singing.
And also, dude, I want to say, when we were recording last week, you do have, an ear for where your voice sounds good.
Yeah.
Because on a couple of those songs, you changed keys, 3 or 4 times, and you're like, this is the key for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that has paid off. You have a good ear for what does harmonize or just, what accompanies your voice correctly. So, yeah, that paid off.
So, and then, I was in a garage band in high school, which I think is very, very helpful for my music journey. It was just this neighbor kid down the street. And
is that the drummer guy?
No.
Oh, he's in Aspen.
So yeah, we'll get to that.
All right.
So
my bad. I'm jumping the gun.
His name was Nathaniel Schaefer. He was a year older than me, and we hadn't really hung out a lot. I mean, I didn't really play with kids in the neighborhood very much. Because I had 2 brothers. Yeah. So we would just play with each other in the backyard.
Beat each other up.
Yeah. But I think we were in the same guitar class. I went right into advanced guitar my freshman year of high school, because I could play guitar by then. So I went into advanced guitar my freshman year of high school, and he was in that same class. And since he lived right down the street, we practiced all the time. We'd go into a practice room during that class, and we just
wow.
practice and we jam. And then he knew Ryan Willis, who's in Aspen, who's going to be
the
drummer.
Yeah.
And it was some recital, and he's like, hey, like, we've been jamming, and there's this drummer guy that I want to play with us. His name's Ryan.
He's a really good drummer, too.
He's really good. He's been playing drums for a long time, and he actually did, like, he played with a marching band, and, like, during, like, football games, he'd be there playing drums. So he's a really good drummer and just a musician in general. So we just, like, made a little garage band, and it was just 2 guitars and a drum set for a while, and then there's this whole drama where we had this like girl bass player, and then like one of my other friends wanted to be in the band, and he was learning bass, and we kind of like kicked her out. And was like, just because, like, you know,
cold blood.
I know,
man.
But Sam Arola, who's a very good friend, and if you're from Calaveras, you probably know the Arolas, kind of a family down there. So we were in a
those
band.
kind of people over here in Tuolumne.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you
Big
got to know
families.
so-and-so.
Yeah. So we had a band called Triple Grounded. Yeah.
That sounds kind of cool, though.
It was cool.
It's you know, it's between Triple Grounded and Axis.
I think Axis wins that. And Axis, the band, which if you missed this, Daniel Gottsel, friend of the show. He was telling us on episode 3 about his musical journey, and he was in a band called Axis. But I never did a battle of the bands. I never opened for anyone cool. It was just like we played for, like, you know, school events during lunch. If there was like a themed lunch, we would play. And we did mostly covers, but that's where I started writing music.
Oh, really?
Was in that band.
What's your inspiration when you do write music? Because the 2 songs we recorded, man, those sound heavy, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm very, very personal when it comes to writing, because that's all I really can. Like, I've tried to, like, write songs about, like, other stuff, like a story about, like, a man who, like, something happened to him, but it's really hard for me to write about stuff that's not my own experience.
Right.
It's hard for me to, like, be creative in that sense.
Like, you write about experiences, not observations.
Yeah, like I write a lot about what I'm going through in the moment. And that's a lot of my inspiration. A lot of it's like therapeutic almost. Like, if I feel like, you know, a lot of the times I'll be like thinking about, a lot of the songs I write are love songs or breakup songs or whatever. So it's like,
they're still good.
They're good.
Really good vibe.
Like, I'll be feeling really, you know, maybe lonely. That's one of the songs that we recorded, is kind of about being lonely. And it's like, I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking about how lonely I am. And you just like, you can only do that for so long. And then you want to take action. And I feel like sitting down and writing a song really helps me feel like I'm doing something. Even though it's not really that, like, helping the problem. It's just something. It's doing something.
But it is, to an extent, helping the problem.
It's helping me,
like you said,
process
it's therapeutic.
And so
it's just like sometimes when you have some issues going on, just talking about them.
And, you know, I don't have many people to talk to about some of the deep stuff that I feel. And, like, even if I did,
would you?
Would I? I don't think I would. But,
Same
you know,
here.
I feel like it's easier to do if I sing about it. And that's another reason why I want to get this music out, is I feel like some of the things that I'm going through, other people must be going through as well.
That's how like when I heard you, I was like, wow, I felt like that before.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very relatable, and it's not like it's super intricate or complex lyrics. And I think that's another reason why it's just like, oh, damn, I feel what he's feeling right here.
Yeah. The other inspiration from those 2 songs that we recorded, the biggest inspiration is Bob Dylan.
Nice.
And you can kind of hear that. It's a little folky. It's just the guitar and my voice, and it's some kind of finger style rhythmic strumming, and just, I really wanted to, you know, and then at some point I discovered Bob Dylan, and I just really love his simple, very simple, just, you know, and I think that makes it approachable and easier to digest, because it's just what is there is what it is.
Well, because he started off writing protest songs, but you listen to his protest songs and they're very relevant today.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I mean. It's timeless. Like everybody's going to have a heartbreak. Everybody's going to be lonely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like if I hear songs that I like, I'm like, damn, I want to record that. Like I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's other people that are like, hey, dude, you want to record me? I'm like, sorry, man, I'm super busy.
Yeah, but then it's like when I'm like, hey, I really want to record this. You're like, yes, like let's do that. That sounds like a good time.
That's a hit.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll come out soon. We're gonna, mix it, and
we'll definitely have at least an EP by the end of the semester.
Yeah,
that's what I'm banking on.
Yeah.
At least like 7 to 8 tracks.
Yeah. And a lot of these, I've been playing for a long time. Like some of these songs that I want to get recorded, like I wrote back in high school, and it's just
decades ago,
like 5 years ago. And it's like, that's the other reason why I want to record them, is because I just want to like get them like out and like done with, like okay, this is the official version. I don't have to keep it in my head. I don't have to keep rewriting it. And because a lot of the time songs grow and evolve, like the first recording I have of it versus like if I were to record it now are so different, just because my own tastes have changed, my own ability has gotten better, or I've just found different sounds to be more appealing now than back then.
So you're like, I need to get it recorded.
I just want to get a version out and just be like, I'm done with that. So yeah, and I had that garage band for a while, and then COVID happened, and it fell apart really. Like I haven't had a band really since high school, but once I got into Bob Dylan, I kind of was like, I don't really want a band.
You don't need one.
Yeah, like just me and my guitar is really what I like to do. Having a band is fun because you have a group of people, and
but there's so many personalities you have to do.
And I'm sort of controlling when it comes to like my songs or the songs I want to cover or the way I want it to sound.
Definitely.
And I'm really hard on myself, and I can be really hard on like the other musicians that I'm playing with if it's like sort of a song that I really enjoy.
You have so many
really
different personalities you're dealing with. Like, because I mean, dude, like, I've dealt with tons of bands, and it's just like hearing bands argue. I'm like, oh gosh. I was like, he's got drummer complex.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he's the lead singer. That guy plays lead guitar. Usually it's like the bass is like the most chill dude out the band. Shows up 5 minutes before the gig, and he's like, wait, what key are we in?
Yeah. I got to shout out one of my friends who was in that band, but later. His name's Noah Cardiel. And I'm going to one of his shows. He's in a band in Santa Barbara.
And you say it's a battle of the bands.
Yeah, he's doing a battle of the bands.
We need one up here.
Yeah, we
need
do.
a battle of the bands up here. You guys, if you have any bands, local bands,
come battle.
Duke it out. Come battle, man. Or, I mean, we're on Spotify. I'm not sure if you can comment on Spotify, but hop on YouTube. Give us some bands we can reach out to, because we can book them at the game room, or maybe even get them in Dogwood.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be I think a battle of the
bands in Dogwood.
That'd be kind of fun.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
I think that'd get a lot of people onto campus.
Yeah, but so you're going to a battle of the bands in Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. His band is called The Sweeps.
The Sweeps. What kind of music is that?
I don't know.
You don't even know how to put a genre on it?
I don't know genres, man. I don't keep up with all this like stuff, you know. They're just like a alt rock, I guess. But maybe they wouldn't call themselves that.
Are they like 2000s dad rock, Creed? Or are we talking like early 90s alternative,
I don't
grungy?
Know, they're not grungy.
Okay.
Are
they metal?
No, they're not metal.
Folky?
No.
Gosh.
I don't know.
Punk?
No. I don't know the
What do they sound like, man?
I don't know.
Throw me a frickin' bone.
I don't know. There's so many.
They don't even sound like nothing?
They do sound like stuff, but I don't know those bands that they sound like. I don't listen to that kind of stuff.
Killing me.
I'm failing. If Noah listens to this, I'm really sorry that I'm failing. But they're called The Sweeps. They're on Instagram. And I think they just released a song.
Nice.
Yeah, and so shout out to Noah. He's a really good friend
check
of
out
mine.
The Sweeps.
He plays bass in that song in the band, so he's chill. But it's really cool because I'm 2 years older than him, and so when I met him, he was a freshman and I was a junior.
Okay.
And when he played the drums in my band.
Oh, so he's a multiple instrument type of guy.
But like I remember when he first learned how to play a note on the bass, you know, and now he's like in a band and he's playing bass mainly, and it's just really cool to see.
That is
awesome.
That
happen. So shout out to Noah.
Shout out Noah.
Yeah.
In the sweeps.
And the sweeps. Yeah.
Good luck in the battle of the bands.
Of the bands. I'll let you guys know when I come back how he did.
Yeah, man. That just sounds cool, dude.
Yeah.
I want to go to a battle of the bands. Yeah, if you guys have bands, we could even interview whatever, man.
The whole band. Sit them down here and talk about what it's like being in a band. This is becoming just like a music podcast now because we're just, me and Steve are both just such music.
We're music nerds.
Yeah, nerds.
I'm audio. Arman's a musician.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, I just hate doing the audio side of it. I'm here to like play the guitar, and then when I want to record, I'm like, I don't want to like buy all this stuff. I don't want to like do all the research because I want to spend my time playing the music.
That's where I come in.
And that's where Steve comes in.
Yeah, man.
But my younger brother's really into the audio stuff.
What kind of audio stuff does he? Is it like hip hop or is it like rock or what's
more hip hop and rap. He does sort of the similar thing that you started with. He makes his own beats. Yeah. And he doesn't really, he can rap, but he mostly like likes to get other people to rap over his stuff. But he, you know, is just so into audio, and like I come over and he just always has this new like, here's a preamp I bought, it's so cool, look at all this. And I'm like,
it's addiction.
I'm like, addicting. That's so cool. And he's like, yeah, this noise gate over here, and then this channel goes over there, and I do this. Well,
because I built my own microphone too. Like I bought a really cheap microphone, gutted it, and did all kinds of stuff to it. Put like a groove tube in it, which is usually for a guitar amp.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Nice.
Put a C12 clone capsule in there. Put a handmade resistor, took out some capacitors and stuff like that, or the other way around, excuse me. A handmade capacitor, and took out some resistors and just stuff like that. No audio. That's what I mean. It's like you're on one side or the other. You know. What do you think of the Grammys? Did you look at the Grammys at all?
Not really. I didn't even know they were happening till after they happened. I don't know why, but like I always miss events, even though like I would want to watch it. Like, oh, the Oscars are coming out. Oh, I want to watch that, but then it just like happens and I didn't even realize.
And sometimes like I don't know, the Oscars are like 4 or 5 hours.
Really,
long. Dude? Yeah, some of them you're just like, all right, man,
wrap it up. Yeah,
wrap it up.
I heard there were some good. I don't really listen to new like music.
Same here. Really. Like in electronic music class with Daniel Gotzel, friend of the show.
Good, very good friend of the show.
Episode 3,
if you haven't watched it.
We went over who won like electronic dance album and other stuff like that, and it was like some of the people that won, I was just like, really? Like, yeah.
Well, that's what I learned.
It was just
so that there's other categories that aren't on the broadcast.
Yeah. So like we went on the website, we were looking at those, and then we were looking them up. And it was like some of the ones that won, it was like the other ones were way better. Wow. And I'm just kind of, I don't know. I was just like,
you know, these things, who gets to decide what
That's my whole thing. Who's picking these things? Because it's like, not to hate on Beyonce, but I think she only had a single out. Like, how do you get best album off a single? Like, shouldn't you have? It was
an album. I thought she released the whole country album, right?
She did, but I mean, like, but she only released one single off of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit old school. It's like, if you have the best album, like, all the singles you released should have like went one, you know what I mean? But if you only, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird with this sort of day and age of streaming. I think there's a lot of things that are sort of changing about how that works.
That's one of the things. Like, you mentioned the Beatles earlier. It's like some of the records that they hold, like same with Michael Jackson and stuff, you know, having the best sold album, like at that time, it was a tangible, like you physically went out and bought the album. Now it's like a record label could say, oh, well, we've had this many streams, but you could have some type of little AI bot streaming the whole day.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like when you sell a record, you know, and I guess back in the day they could just
Yeah,
do
inflate
that, but it'd be a
numbers.
little bit harder to get rid of all the physical albums
Yeah.
and stuff. I don't know. So yeah, it has changed. So I take it more with a grain of salt. Now we're like, oh, they're the top artists. Like,
Right.
oh, are they?
Yeah, there's some people who like just like anyone who even has won a Grammy automatically takes them out of the running for their favorite band because they just like, like artists that are, unknown or
yeah.
not mainstream.
Oh, they're mainstream.
Yeah, they
now. I
sold
can't listen
out.
to it. Yeah.
It's just funny. I think people who listen to music are just funny. Like, everyone listens to music, but some people take
I
it
think
very
people
seriously.
who listen to specific genres.
Yeah.
Like, like I worked with my buddy Cam, and he was super like punk rock, and he was just like, anybody who wears a Misfit shirt is a poser. And I'm like, Cam, you have a Misfit shirt on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Cool. Nice. What are we?
Sweet.
What time are we at here?
55.
55 minutes. That's a podcast.
That's a podcast.
That's a podcast, isn't it? Thank
So-
you for joining us this week.
Yo, put some comments. What bands you want to hear
Yeah.
about or whatever.
I mean, you've really gotten to know us so much better now that
You've heard a bit of our journey.
Yeah, you got to hear the guests, but we're the ones who are on this every week. We should get an opportunity to talk
Right?
every once in a while.
You guys have questions or honestly, we have some guests lined up for the next few weeks. They should be some really fun guests. Different faculty members going to talk about a couple different programs that are beneficial to students here. We'd love to hear your feedback.
New episode coming out every week.
Every
on
Monday.
YouTube and Spotify. Mondays, yeah.
Spotify. We are
We
on
made it.
Spotify. We made it, Mom.
It was really easy, it turns out. So,
Yeah.
whoops. We look forward to you guys listening.
Yeah,
Thank you so
come to
much for
Arman's
tuning
show
in.
on the 21st at the Game Room. And if you're bored, come to the Game Room. We're booked solid till April, so there's always a show Friday and Saturdays.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Next week.